Across the horizon, the place where I came from, I read and I was told in the history of a place across the horizon was once a place where people lived by one another's happiness for no reason. Across the horizon, a place where hospitality and freedom of commerce attract people from different zones to make a place across the horizon their business comfort zone. Across the horizon, a place blessed with natural resources and so much fertility that makes it real for everyone to make it green and feed in every season. Across the horizon, a place with a progressive system led by patriotic leaders who invested much in education for young people to have free and easy access to formal education, making them productive to participate in governance and making of decisions that will shape the future of the upcoming generations. But we have lost the way. We have lost our norms and values. We are now victims of a broken system. We are leaders. We are divorced from reality and get marred by all forms of atrocities that gradually transition the vanity of our morality into vanity of immorality. A broken system that gives birth to unhealthy society with no sanity but full of poverty that intensify the rate of calamity. We are now living in a society with the uncertainty of the security of our lives and properties because people with the authority care less of their responsibility to provide security and protection of the citizens. Across the horizon, now in the comfort zone of terrorism, where the rich are giving weapons to the poor to kill the poor, the rich should also know that one day the poor will have no joy in killing the poor, and that will be the time for the poor to start killing the rich with those weapons given by the rich. With all this happening around me as a young person, make me feel like a body at inception that have the zeal and passion with a very strong heart full of compassion. But whenever I look at those faces and the sins happening in the political cycle, my thoughts dissolve into confusion. Decade after decade, young shall grow is what they said, but yet they deny me my democratic right for participation. They are afraid of me because they knew I'm the source of revolution. That is why they deprived me my right to education, for me to remain in the dark without a point of light on their deception. Youth, obey the clarion call, as they said, and we struggle hard under the sun or in the rain to make them who they are. But in return, they treat us less the humans we are. They use the power of hate speech to chase away the spirit of togetherness among us, for us to remain divided and for them to remain in power. That is why, if you ask me, why do we hate? I will tell you that we hate because they taught us to hate. We hate because they taught us not to tolerate. We hate because they taught us to discriminate, while they knew hatred is what discrimination generates. That they knew hatred is the basis of public sentiment from which they drive their political interest. Some preachers are paid to preach hatred as word of God, which they mutilate. Please don't be deceived, but be convinced that hatred has no religion. Hatred has no culture. Hatred has no tradition. Hatred has no value. Hatred is a disease that we need to eradicate. But the media platforms are disseminating hatred for the masses to imitate, and that makes hatred a disease from which very few are immune. If you ask me again, why do we hate? I will tell you that we hate because they made us believe that there is more than one race in the face of the world. There is only one race in the world, the human race. Are you a human? If you are and you believe you are a human, you don't need to hate because we all belong to the same race. We hate because they made us believe that the language we speak and the pigmentation of our skin made us inferior or superior to others. The pigmentation of our skin or the language we speak has no ties with intelligence, wealth, poverty, or what's of being humans. Of course, there's no gene for hatred. There's no gene for racism. There's no gene for bigotry. We all learn to do such. And whatever we learn, we can all learn. With all I've said, you may ask, then when shall we be free? I will tell you that we shall be free when we, the youth, realize that we have the power to revolutionize the system of governance and refuse giving ourselves to those corrupt politicians who enslaved our hopes, making us believe that we can achieve greatness by being their warlords on social media platforms. We shall be free. We shall be free when we refuse giving ourselves to those corrupt politicians who enslaved our thought, dictate who to vote and who not to vote, who to like and who to dislike, what to think and how to think. We shall be free. When we realize that the so-called and presumed Fulani headsmen are killing people with no regards to their political and religious affiliation, then we shall keep aside our differences and amplify our voices to break the silence and call the government to action against violence. We shall be free. We shall be free when we summon back the spirit of peace and unity and care less of our ethnicity to uphold the honor and glory of our nationality for the progress of our dear country, Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.